Hi, this is Dr. Steven Newhart with Science-Based Body, and this is the Economic Fitness Podcast channel. On this channel, we are going to provide you with ways to keep your body and mind in top peak physical condition in an environment of sedentary work environments. It is our perspective that blood flow is equal to cash flow. And if you cut off the blood flow, you cut off the cash flow. We hope you enjoy our information. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in to Economic Fitness, brought to you by Science-Based Brain, Mind, Body. This is Dr. Steven Newhart. And as you know, on this channel, we like to interview CEOs. We like to see their routine. But today I have a student of mine. Everybody, I don't know if you guys know, I'm an adjunct professor, and a student of mine is here. And she had a story that I just could not ignore. And so I wanted to ask Elizabeth Scott to come on the show today so that we could hear this story from her directly and have a fun little discussion about it. So Elizabeth, thank you for taking the time to come on the show and hang out with me a little bit and tell the story.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Newhart. So I guess for context, I am going into my senior year at University of Texas at Arlington. And I'm majoring in kinesiology, but I did not start in kinesiology. I started with aerospace engineering because I just thought it sounded impressive, and I wasn't really focused on what I was interested in. I just was like, what's impressive and makes a lot of money?
Sounds impressive, too.
It was very boring. Engineers are hard to work with. Engineers are very stubborn.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, I want to say like maybe 5 years ago, so just before I started college, my mother had some health problems. She started getting a lot of chronic pain. She was fatigued constantly. She had really bad brain fog and anxiety and depression. I remember her telling me about it, and I was like, is it that severe? Because if the wind blew, she felt pain. If she sat in direct sunlight, it felt like she was like this hurt. It feels like she's burning. And she's very pale, so she burns easily anyways, but that was like a next level up. And so she started seeing doctors about it, and at first the doctors couldn't really decide what was going on. They're like, we're not really sure. Like, you don't really have any major, like, indicators of anything. And eventually they settled on fibromyalgia. And they're like, this is the closest thing we're going to get. From what I understand, we still don't know a lot about fibromyalgia as a disease. And so they're like, here's some medication for like the pain. Hopefully it'll ease and go away.
Yep.
And my mother got on the medication and almost immediately started having adverse reactions. Particularly her anxiety shot through the roof. I remember her telling me, she was like, it was so bad. I felt like dinosaurs were going to jump out of the bush and eat me. That was how bad the anxiety was. She was like, dinosaurs are going to jump out of the bush and eat me. And so she went to her doctors and was like, get me off this medication. I don't care. I don't want to be on this medication because this is making me feel worse overall. And my mother does prefer a lot more homeopathic routes for a lot of things. She understands the benefits of modern medicine and knows when to step in and go like, okay, I need actual medicine, but she prefers to find more natural routes. And so she found this article. It was a case study about somebody who had sent their fibromyalgia into remission through diet change, pretty much exclusively. And she was like, well, what do I have to lose? I'll try that, even if it's just one case study. And so she cut out all sugars, all grains, and all nightshades, which are like tomatoes, white potatoes, peppers, beans, mostly foods that have a high content of lectins. And she went on a completely anti-inflammatory diet. And within the first few months, she could see significant improvement. She still hurt and ached, but her energy levels were higher and her anxiety was lower, and she felt better overall. And And then within a year, she had lost a lot of weight. She was pretty much not in pain at all. She could live her daily life. And I just thought it was really interesting how she didn't really change anything else about her life. She pretty much just changed her diet and got her sleep schedule on track. And there was such a massive difference. Because, like, to give you an idea, I think she said she was close to a size 20 or 22 at first, but nowadays she's like a size 2. So it was a massive weight drop because it was all inflammation. And she said at first it was really hard because you're in those first like few months, your body's like, but sugar, but we want sugar. I like sugar. Can we have sugar? But after a few months, she said the cravings went away entirely, and now she's like, I don't even want that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
It does. It goes away pretty
yeah.
quick.
Every once in a blue moon, she's like, man, I miss pasta. I miss cheese, because she doesn't eat dairy either.
Right.
She found out that she's slightly lactose intolerant. And so, but now she's gotten to such a good point. She's been on this diet for so long that she can have, you know, a serving of pasta or a glass of wine every once in a few months and be pretty much fine. She'll take a little bit of a hit, but when she first started out, if she lapsed on that diet at all, she would be out for like a week,
Sure.
just bedridden with the pain. And so that caught my eye because I was like, that's really cool. You didn't even have to really do much. That's just food. And so I think my second year of college, I was like, I don't want to do engineering. I don't like this. What do I want to do? And so I looked into kinesiology. Well, before I looked into kinesiology, I looked into nutrition because I don't know why it never crossed my mind, but registered dietitian is a job.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I can go study that. And UTA doesn't have a nutrition degree, so I was like, kinesiology is pretty close, and I can use that as a base degree to jump off and maybe go get a master's and then take a certification exam, and you know, boom, boom, all done.
Sure.
And so that's where I am now. I don't know.
There's so many discussion points for all that.
Yes.
It's like what I'm thinking, I'm going, okay. So here, let's go here. You've learned that the body naturally, so you're saying it's just food. The interesting part, I believe, is we don't have to think about what we're putting in, but paying attention to what we're taking out is probably the most important. Oh, here, okay, so this will, all kinds of questions. Did your mom, so when she cut out carbs and sugar, what was she taking in that was obvious on that side of the spectrum? Carbs and sugar.
You mean like what food she was taking out when she started the diet?
Yeah.
Mostly Diet Cokes,
Okay.
and she was very busy. Before the pandemic, she got laid off because of COVID, but she ran a multi-million-dollar territory for Chantel, which is a French lingerie company. And so she was constantly traveling. So her diet was kind of mostly just like chain restaurants, whatever
Yeah.
hotels had, that sort of thing. So she stopped drinking Diet Coke. She stopped picking up sweet treats, you know, for herself. And then she said she made sure wherever she went for traveling, there was a Chipotle, because Chipotle is like the only place she can
I was
go
gonna say that a
that
second ago.
has options for her.
Yeah.
Because
That's my go-to.
there's not really a lot of places that have that sort of options where it's like they don't have this or this or this or that in it.
You at least know you're seeing chicken and you're seeing, you know, salad and you're seeing beans, even though no beans for her, but you're seeing corn, you're seeing things that are
You
somewhat
know
natural.
what's going into
It's
it.
somewhat natural of a, you know, now, is there canola oil or something in there? Maybe, I don't know. That's bad for you. Here's what I will tell you in the future that you'll hear from class, but If you read The Science of Skinny, which was written by Dee McCaffrey, she'll be a PhD in dietetics, but her initial degree is in chemistry. And so she's able to look at the chemistry of food, and ingredients and what it actually is. All sugar, especially Diet Coke. I don't know why we turn the eye to the Diet Coke. But
diet drinks are horrible for you.
Any sweetener has been bleached. So, and people say bleached sugar. It blatantly comes out of their mouth. But that's bleach. But we're not going, I'm drinking bleach. It's just like, bleach sugar, whatever. It's white. Okay, but it's bleached. So with that, what was happening is going in there, and obviously this is some sort of nervous system disorder that your mother had, whether you want to call whatever you want to call it. The nerves were oversensitive, okay? But the bleach is going into the body, and it's like if you just pour bleach on your arm, at some point it'll eat through. It'll eat through the skin. So it's eating through the inside of our bodies. It's getting to our nervous system. It's getting to our organs. It's creating holes in things. And you're like, well, I don't know why I feel bad. The addiction's so strong, it's hard to get away. But once you can, it's amazing. And yes, of course, when we use the word inflammation, inflammation is your body bleeding from the inside out. You just can't see it. So of course it's going to cause pain. Why would it not? And you've been given, your mom feels great now, but she gave you a gift. There was a gift in all that. There was a gift for your awakening and your realizing what was going on with the food. And now you can take that gift and you can turn and you can deliver it to somebody else, which is what you're actually doing right now, which is cool.
Education.
I believe that's the thing. And now I have educated people on the bad food, but there is, the addiction stops so many people from actually changing. So that's why I've brought you up to speed on this a little bit, but we're starting to analyze the brain and figure out ways to stop addiction through certain brain treatments. And then apply exercise and apply the things that go into its place so that people can really stop this time. But you have a funny term. I don't know if you or your mom made it up.
It was my mom's partner. Okay. He made it up.
Tell me what that term is.
It's a crab bucket.
Crab bucket. Tell me what the crab bucket is, because I like this. And you did a little hand gesture with it last time. That's it.
So when you put crabs in a bucket to get ready to eat them, if a crab tries to get out of the bucket, if it's trying to climb out, the other crabs will grab it and bring it back down. They'll be like, no, you're in this with me. If I'm going down, you're going down with me.
Right, sure.
And so my mom's partner, Bryant, noticed that whenever people would start working on themselves, start eating healthier, start working out more, particularly women, a lot of the times people in their social circles or far beyond their social circles with social media now would start dragging them down and be like, what are you doing? Why are you changing yourself? You shouldn't have to change yourself.
You're perfect before.
Are you sure? Are you okay? Do you have an eating disorder?
Do you want to stay in pain?
Yeah.
I mean, let's ask the real question. Do you want to stay in pain? Do you want to this? That's really what should be coming out of their mouths.
And this is Bryant's take on it, is that if they see other people get better, they have to realize that they could also get better. They're just not doing anything about it.
They could get out of the bucket too. And that is actually a point that deserves discussion, because that whole thing right there, if we turned that around, you would have so much more success for groups of people at a time instead of negativity. But I still go back to this. I think the reason why you try to reach up and grab the person and bring them back is it's addiction. Jealousy comes from addiction. There's a lot of things that come from the addiction, and it gets planted in there not by anyone's knowing. Parents give their kids, and I'll say it just straight out, parents give their kids ice cream all the time. At a young age, you're laying in neuroaddictive pathways, so it'll be harder for them at older ages to get out. And so you've got to think about that. Leave your addictions to yourself and work on them and work on getting out of them, and don't drag anybody in. Now, not only are you dragging this person in, but your child that's not even developed yet, you're holding them down in a sense. creating anxiety, poor health, this, that for them. Everybody should really know the truth about that thing because it's reality. That's what's going on out there, and it's a bummer. But that is your definition is probably the best because it happens all the time. Probably the best definition. But that whole phenomenon deserves attention, because if we could stop that, then this person could actually drag everybody else out with them with the proper tools in the proper setting with the proper community and whatever. So
like, hey, if the crabs all just stood on top of each other and then started pulling out from the top,
each other out, it makes total sense. Why would you want to live in that crippled state? That's a good question. Not realizing that you're there, and when you're soaked in addiction, you don't understand how great it can be out without it. It's only, this is where my happiness comes from now, and I have to stay here, and I have to live in this moment forever, I guess. But for me, it was, no, I'm not gonna blindedly coast through life in some addicted cycle, not paying attention to the family, friends, the people that are around me. Got to get out of that and see what's on the other side, which brings a lot of significance to the movie The Matrix, actually.
Yes.
Because if they don't put it that way at all, but if you come out, what's the world like? Oh gosh, I don't know if I want to live here.
Yeah.
But you're not in the computer. You're not hooked into a computer system. So I don't know. So what's the future direction look like for you?
For me, well, I'm obviously going to finish up my bachelor's degree, and then I want to go pursue a master's degree in dietetics. Right now I'm looking at the University of Washington, Seattle. They've got a very high success rate.
Going there or online?
I want to go there, preferably. Sure. But if I can take it online, like if that's the only method, then I might be willing to compromise and be like, okay, the quality. Yeah. Because I think starting 2024, registered dietitians are required to have a master's degree to practice. So I was like, might as well just go and get it now and then go take the certification exam.
I have heard from Dee that luckily, nowadays these kind of degrees, they're actually teaching about the harmful stuff too, which is good. So it's not just like, here's your percentage of carbs and this is what carbs do for your body. It's like,
here's a general chart. Where do you fall on the chart?
Yeah, now go out there and put everybody on the general. They don't do that. It's actually much better now, which is good. And if me, a strength and conditioning professor, is talking about this stuff with students, because we hit nutrition, and I'm like, well, I have to tell them the truth. Can't just ignore this. Then there's obviously a lot of other people that's their field who are really taking it seriously. So, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming out here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course. And one other fun fact, you're a sibling of 5.
Yes, I'm the middle child of 5. So this was a great opportunity for me to finally talk and be listened to.
Get your voice out. We can do this again, actually, if you want to. You can talk on here all day. I don't care.
I can talk for hours.
I can talk for hours. Everybody's got a great story. Happy for your mom. Let her know. Hopefully
I'm going to be sending her this podcast and be like, Mom, look, Mom.
Look, it's you. That's wonderful. She could actually help many others. And is she, she's actually probably a top performer. I mean, all the other CEOs I'm interviewing, she probably fits their mold, because you said she was, what was her position for the
She was in charge of multi-million-dollar territory, so she was a representative for the brand.
She had to be high functioning.
She was extremely high functioning. Which is
where, a lot of people that choose to be high functioning, that's where they go, okay, what's going on here? I can't deal with this energy drop. What caused that? And then you cut that out, and that's when they step forward and do what your mom did. Hey, I'm just going to go all natural diet, and look.
It's like, wow, I got better. Whoa. Who knew?
Crazy. But anyways, we've said 1,000 times on this podcast, natural treatment is real. You just confirmed it. So it is possible to heal yourself naturally. And I'll finish up with this. I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast before, but one of my favorite shows was called Naked and Afraid. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
They go out there and into the wilderness, and they have no clothes, or that's not the most important part, but they don't usually eat much. And you watch the body in a 21-day fast. lose all its body fat. Muscle mass is still kind of there. I'm sure energy drops a little bit, but it shows you that the body survives just fine on its own without a lot of external influences.
We are built to survive.
We are.
So.
And we have plenty of storage of everything. So the sickness that we're experiencing is obviously only what we're putting in. You take it all away and the body turns healthy again. Whoa, weird. So that's why we believe in fasting. Just for some populations, we think it's good. But thanks for your time, and we'll do this again. And thank you all for tuning in with us here, and we'll see you on the next episode.